everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean. How are you? I don't know why my thing looks so close. It shouldn't be that close. It's going to be that close. How you doing? I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love with the people that you love doing them with. Bugsy Malone is out of sight. It's bedtime for her. We got some things to talk about tonight. We got Henry Wright and we've got Savalicious coming over here. I think they've just been on. I don't know. Have you been following the procession of content this evening? Is that what you've been doing? Is that what you've been doing? No shame if it's the truth. If I'm honest, if you haven't, then is it because you've got better things to be doing on a Tuesday night? I don't know what to say. I hope not. Listen, guys, how you doing? There's 300 people in the house. 300 already. And I know you can see I've had a shave. The chubby cheeks are on the show, but that's okay too. It will come back. We got to talk a little bit about gift ORBAN, the gift that hasn't started giving yet. Nigerian superstar. Maybe, just maybe. Tottenham are looking that direction if and when we end up without Harry Kane. Or maybe even with Harry Kane. I don't think that will be the case. But we're going to carry on anyway. We've also got to talk about the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust. What is going on with the Supporters Trust? They've come out firing. I got to be honest, guys. We're going to go through it in a second. I know you've probably seen it before, so I'm not going to go through it in too much fine detail. However, I've got to be honest. I feel like the narrative, the language. I can see Henry in the background. He's giving me the wave. I'm going to bring him in. What's happening, Henry? Good to see you, mate. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Obviously, congrats on 13K and all that.
Thank you very much.
And well, I had a bit of a run-in with the Daily Hotspur because, well, I'll get into it later, but mate, I'm good. I'm just this football club. All I want is a normal day. All I want is us to go and go.
No, you don't, mate. You're a content creator.
Yeah, I do, but all I want to see is...
The last couple of weeks have been boring as hell as content creators, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know, but all I want to see, mate, is Van der Ven and THST are done, right? And we're sitting here. Now there's apparently news that Kane's going to stay, providing there's an improvement on the pitch. It's just, mate, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is. But have you compared the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust language in their little update that came out yesterday versus what they've been saying in previous updates? It's a bit 180. It's almost someone has infiltrated the Supporters Trust. Someone who's a bit more leaving out.
I think what I don't get is Sava made a great point earlier, right? The ticket prices went up 2 months ago or a month ago. Why all of a sudden is there an announcement now? Why now? Why has it taken so long that it should have been the same day? Right? And collectively as a fan base, we're finished, right? I'm not going to say we're doing it again, but we are finished. Right?
You can say every time we're doing it again.
Every time
again, Henry.
Every time we try to protest. Last time there was 100 people there and an Ed Sheeran guy with a guitar, a banjo guitar. Next to him there was someone holding up a Levy Out sign with a handful of merchandise from the Tottenham Club shop with the latest tracksuit. Right? But honestly, Sean, what are we protesting against? Because let's say in a hypothetical scenario, right? Tottenham versus Man United, first game of the season, right? 30,000 fans walk out on the 50th minute, would send shockwaves throughout the media. Mass walkout all over the news. BBC will be all over it like a tramp on hot chips. Right, all over it. Right, so would BT. Right, 40,000 people give up their season tickets due to mass protest. The following day, 40,000 people off the waiting list will get the opportunity to buy their ticket, and it will be replaced like that. We're protesting for the wrong things, mate. We should be protesting. Is there even a
justification to protest?
Well,
on this particular note, on this particular one, on the price rises.
We're not the only club in the Premier League. We're not the only club in the Premier League that's had a ticket price increase.
No, we are the only club in the Premier League. We are the only club in the Premier League who hasn't raised season tickets for 2 years running, and who has frozen the match day prices for non-season ticket for members for the previous 4 years. I know it's starting from a high level. I know it's starting from a high level, but when you've
got to make up for the last 4 years, right?
Yeah, I get it. Look, I got to start this because I know this is going to go down like a pint of warm sick with some fans. I get it, but listen, I got to be true to myself. I got to be true to myself.
That's quite a good one-liner that for you, isn't it?
It's definitely going down like a pint of warm sick, right? But let's start at the end and come backwards, right? So you start with things like stop exploiting loyalty, right? That's the hashtag. I've never heard, and I feel like the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust has been infiltrated. Something has changed. Something has wildly changed, whether it's the people that are writing the message or the people that are in the Supporters Trust. Something massive has changed. But when you start with things like stop exploiting loyalty, I think you undermine your own narrative when the most technically, in terms of money giving fans, the most loyal fans are like season ticket holders who don't want to give up their season ticket.
Most loyal fans are the fans that travel overseas. They're willing to travel. Like some of the fans that come to see Son from South Korea travel across the continent, right, into Europe to see a player that might have a purple patch game and be on absolute fire, or might be as useful as Yipong Lee.
Remember him? Shout out to you.
Do you remember him? Yeah. They're the loyal ones. And another thing, right? Why is it when we go on tour, all football clubs go on tour to Australia, America, why is it they get to meet the players? Why is it they're signing shirts and who's the Newcastle guy who's got 40,000 subs? The what is his name? Anyway, he was having pictures of Tonali, speaking to him, interviewing him for his YouTube channel, right? Walking around, their club CEO was in the bar having a drink with fans. Can you imagine?
Because he's likable. That's because he's likable.
Can you imagine Daniel Levy going, "Oh yeah, we're going to have a great"? He'd be flipping glassed in minutes.
He would absolutely be glassed.
Why is it, Adam Pearson? Big up to Adam Pearson. Why is it when you go to when Tottenham go to another nation, all of a sudden the fans there can meet the? I get they don't get to see the team as much because different geographic locations, but why is it we don't even get a sniff? We watch.
I hadn't even thought about that. I'm pretty sure I was like, didn't last year? Wasn't there some? Maybe there was. You know what, man? I'm not even thought about it.
We've got, Sean, is Eric Dyer climbing through the crowd? Be honest, mate. It's absolutely this football club, right? I've never felt so disconnected in all my life from this football club. In all of my life, like Sean, we haven't got no centre backs coming in. Our best player, don't know if he's coming or going.
We are. That's all that stuff's going to be. All that stuff's going to be sorted out.
But it's been 5 weeks, mate.
Yeah, but there's 9 weeks in a window, mate. You know how it works.
More than half of it is gone. Me and you have been shamelessly putting Tottenham monitoring in capital letters about a player we don't even know if he's coming or not.
Listen, I've got a lovely video coming out tomorrow about Gift Orban. We're going to be talking about him. I'm sure you will as well, Henry. Sure you'll have something figured out for him tomorrow.
Yeah, I've already pre-recorded it. Don't worry about that.
Nice. Before we get going, guys, we're 12 minutes in. I haven't even said hello to people in the video in the chat. Listen, I'm not going to. I'm going to say welcome, but smash the like button on your way in. I don't know what we're doing in terms of numbers. I need to go and figure that stuff out. But what I do need you to do,
5 likes and 570 people in the chat.
Okay, well, that's not good enough. We need ratios. We need ratios that make sense. There should be at least 60% of the people that are watching can access the like button. It's free to do. Hit the subscribe button on this channel if you haven't already. I think you're 35 likes away, Henry, from the big number, aren't you? You said?
Yeah, I'm going to shamelessly plug my channel because we are Captain Shameless. I am 41 subs away from the next milestone.
What is the next milestone?
14.4K. So if any of you haven't subscribed, I'm going to shamelessly say go and subscribe.
So go and subscribe. The link is in the title, as is Savas. Savas said he was coming. Is he not coming? Has he disappeared and done something else?
He's trying to see the missus for 10 or 15 minutes because he has done like 4 or 5 streams already today.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, fair enough. He'll be repeating himself for the 100th time. Guys, this is actually, listen, I want to introduce you to this channel at 9:45 every Tuesday throughout the season. We specifically selected this time zone after the Champions League games are done during the season. You come on here, we're going to talk about them, then we're going to talk about whatever's gone on with Tottenham during the day. This show is called Shameless. It's perfectly named for people like Henry, not so much people like me. I'm very much not shameless, but Henry takes it to new levels of shame-filled debauchery when it comes to his content. So do I. I'm not kidding. No, we are Shameless FC, as is Tottenham at times, and that's the name of the show, Shameless. We're going to be going through it. But guys, I want to ask you, Henry. Look, I've got to get it up. I've got to just quickly. Have you
seen the comments they've made about the 1, 2, and 3, the steps? I think you just had it up briefly a minute ago.
Yeah, we're gonna go through it, right? So I just want to start with this. Like, when have you ever heard of this is more like a trade union talking to the government than it is a supporters trust talking to the club. Like, apart from that opening sentence there, as we're all aware, Tottenham Hotspur has increased the prices. Factual. Here's the second sentence. The second sentence of a thing that's trying to get some decent reception from the club. Ticket prices at the club are already amongst the most expensive in the Premier League. That's a fact. To make matters worse, full details were hidden in a general statement released by the club, indicating it is fully aware the decision cannot be justified. I mean, what a way to start a sentence! What a way to start a statement. Basically accusing them of underhand tactics on something that absolutely cannot be justified. There's plenty of ways you can justify this. It depends whether you have your fan hat on or whether or not you have a hat on that delves into, I don't know, business 101, economics, or, you know, things that happen outside of football. But it gets worse. For me, the language here is so egregiously aggressive. I don't know why they've gone 180. They used to be a little bit too soft. For me now, Henry, they've gone wildly too aggressive. Like, they say things like, if these rises are not opposed, we believe there will be more to come. A corresponding increase in season ticket prices would mean rises of blah, 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 blah.
A Tottenham fan has definitely written this. This hasn't even gone through Grammarly, has it?
It hasn't gone through Grammarly. But on top of that, they're making assumptions. They're making statements as though, like, it's like, you know, if there was a corresponding increase in season ticket prices. Yeah, but there hasn't been. There hasn't been a corresponding increase in season prices for 2 years. The only club in the Premier League not to have done so after COVID. So they're making, I don't know. Like, it gets worse. It gets worse.
There's a lot of things this club do that are wrong, right? We all can call it out for, and as we see fit. But if they haven't put the ticket price up for the last 2 years, and then inflation hits an all-time high in the UK, in what was it? It went up to 11%. Now it's at around 7.5, 8%.
Yeah, but since COVID, I think the average inflation is about 11% over the last.
Do you know what inflation is in Argentina?
Yeah, it's bonkers, like 50, 60%, 70%. Yeah.
It was 130% at one point.
Yeah. But the number that people give inflation, right? People say that inflation's 10%. That doesn't mean that every price has gone up by 10%. It just means that's the average. And the way that they watermark that is by excluding certain fundamentals. For hospitality businesses, for businesses that are putting on events, the cost of doing business is up in some areas of their cost structure by 30, 40% over the last 12, 18 months. And it's no different for football clubs. You know, the cost of putting on security, the cost of hiring the police, the cost of repairs, the cost of plumbing, the cost of all those things. The cost of
maintenance has got to be extortionate.
General maintenance is up far more than the average cost of inflation. And that has been left off. Like, I haven't got a hill to. I'm not dying on this hill, mate. I really don't want to die on this hill about the season ticket prices, because I understand why people would be annoyed by it. But like, I did get sucked into a debate with Paul O'Keefe when these things first happened 4 or 5 weeks ago. I called him out and then ended up getting on the receiving end of hundreds and hundreds of DMs.
Oh yeah, the minions that he's got following him.
That's fine. But the only reason I got involved was because he made out that the only reason why Tottenham have raised their prices is because of the lack of European football and the missed revenue in accordance.
That's just not true, because one of the highest profit reasons, it's not true. That has no correlation.
Yeah, it's like Tottenham are going to face a lack of revenue from Europe for sure. But the reason, the by far the biggest reason why you would raise prices into an inflationary market is because of cost push inflation. The cost of putting on your event has gone up, and this argument that you're only going to make 2.5 million here or there by putting the prices up, therefore it's an insignificant rise, which is a thing that they say in this article. For what it's worth, we go back to it again, that they go out of their way to say the increase will generate approximately 2.5 million, which is 2.4% of match receipt income for the financial year, or 0.6%, a small change for Spurs, but a big hit in the pockets for fans. Whilst that might be technically true, if you were to take that same approach to every time a cost increase in a business of that size, and you would go, well, let's not put up the price of beer just because the tax man has put up the duty on beer. Let's not go and put that penny onto the cost. If you were to do that all the time, and the argument was, well, it's only 2.5 million, you'd end up out of business. You'd be out of business within a couple of years. So I'm not coming at this as a fan versus someone who understands economics or whatever. I'm just saying, like, it's not that clear cut. It's not as clear cut as people make out. Sorry, Henry.
What are we actually protesting against? Is it the ticket prices? Is it the football club? Is it the owner? Is it the whole collective as a principle? What are we protesting against? Because I would happily, I know a lot of people would disagree, but if we had players like Rodri, De Bruyne, Haaland, if we had Man City's squad, a lot of the people would happily pay 80, 100 quid to go watch us play, because we're going to be winning trophies year in, year out. The problem I have is protesting at Tottenham doesn't work, in my opinion, because the culture of our fan base a lot of it is not right. The biggest protest we've ever had in recent years wasn't against the owners. It was against the Super League.
Yeah.
Right? Whenever we should be...
And look how that worked out, by the way. It happened anyway. The Super League's emerging by default anyway.
The Premier League, to give you some perspective, right? If Ajax win the Eredivisie, they get between 10 and 20 million pounds. Right? If you get relegated from the Premier League into the Championship, you get 120 million parachute payment in installments over 6 to 10 months. Right?
Yeah. It's like
admittedly, you've got to balance the books.
It's
longer
than that. It's longer than 6 to 10 months. But yeah, I take your point. Yeah.
Or let's say 12 to 18 months, whatever it is, you're going to get payments, right?
Yeah.
The money in the Premier League, we're seeing the likes of Bournemouth put in 30, 40 million pound bids for players like Zaniolo. We're seeing Fulham going and signing 20, 30 million pound players. Brighton signing 20, 30 million pound players. Liverpool do 100 million on Darwin Núñez euros. Man United doing 100 million on Anthony. Tottenham still sitting there being Tottenham. Arsenal doing 100 million on Declan Rice. The money in England is we've already spent 1.54 billion this window. The Premier League, the second closest league, is on 460 million. Serie A, we're nearly at 3 times the amount of revenue the league has spent.
I think Bournemouth spent more money in January than the entirety of Serie A put together.
So exactly. So this narrative about the Super League's already here.
It is already here. Yeah, 100%.
And
it is, yeah.
I just want to know what we're protesting against. If we're protesting against the owners, say leave it out. If we're protesting against the football club, say we want change. If we're protesting against the tickets, do this hashtag. But the problem is, mate, is 30,000 people walk out, another 30,000 people walk in. There's over 100,000 people on that waiting list for season tickets. The culture.
Yeah, listen, I'll be honest. I read that statement today, and I was gobsmacked by the tone of it. I don't necessarily dislike it. I'm fine with people that want to, and I think that the right to. I don't think it's your right to protest. I think if it's your responsibility to protest. If you are someone that's had enough and you genuinely feel the way you do, I implore people to protest. I personally don't feel as strongly as people that do. So I won't be there.
You are
because
slowly turning, aren't you, in terms of the way the ownership's running?
Oh no, I'm furious with the way the summer's gone. I'm absolutely furious. But I personally have I don't I feel like some people on the extreme end of any movement will use any bat to hit the target with anything at all. And I think that sometimes dilutes the argument. If you're someone that can't separate and treat moments in isolation and judge each individual instance on its own merit, then you end up diluting what could be a very credible argument. I personally don't feel as strongly as some people do about the price ticket rises. I think that, was it silly to do it? Was it necessary to do it?
It's the timing of it. That was the problem.
I think the timing of it was silly. I don't think it was necessary to happen. I think they could have worn this one on the chin. I think that they didn't need to do it. On an economical basis, is there a justification for it? 100% there is. And also when you factor in the fact that they haven't raised the prices on season tickets in the last 2 years, and no other Premier League club, as far as I'm aware, can say the same, when they hadn't raised the prices on tickets for the last 4 years until now. I don't think any other Premier League can say the same. I think that they've worn the inflationary cost previously. And I think that is just a factor now that they decided they want to go down. Do they need to do it? No, they don't. Is it worth protesting about? Like, if you haven't protested before, then protesting about this is a bit weird to me, if I'm honest. If you're someone that wants to protest all the time and you've had enough of Daniel leaving, you had enough of ENIC and all that stuff, then this is another reason to get behind it. And I feel like the supporters trust have picked a really weird hill to die on. It's the weirdest hill to die on.
I agree completely. There's two types of arguments, isn't there? There's a logical argument and an emotional argument. If you're very, very, very leave you out, which I am, but I personally, in what's going on in the country right now, the tickets going up doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is our pure incompetence in a transfer market, right? That's something. You don't have to go to the ground. You don't have to pay for Sky to watch the football. There's plenty of people that advertise the streams on Twitter.
100%.
You don't have. I haven't bought the Spurs shirt. Sitting there in a black top because it's our funeral, right? So are you. I'm just sitting.
I wear a black top because of my curves, mate. Nothing else.
I'll show you something. Wait there. I'll show you something. Someone bought this for me. Family member. I don't know if it's going to show up on the green screen.
Yeah, nice.
Harry Kane, human son, right? Nice touch.
Lovely.
I can't even look at it. I'm going, look at these great times. Look at it now. He's not even going to be here in 3 weeks.
Do you not think so?
Mate, listen, if he signs a new contract, massively got to question his ambition. But point I'm making is, of all the things we could protest, Super League, ticket prices have gone up twice in the last 5 years, sacking Martineau at halftime, not giving Poche a goodbye to his players, the fact that we went 500 and something days without signing a player because of the stadium, whatever argument you want to spin it, why do it now when we're 2 weeks from the season? Not even that, 12 days. The timing is awful. And like what you said, if you actually read the way the grammar in it, it's a complete. It's gone from.
It just feels to me like there's new people in charge. I don't know if there are or they're not, but there's someone else like that. The emotive language is what really surprised me when I was reading it. Big up, Saba. How you doing, mate? The emotive language was what was surprising to me.
Yeah, the grammar's done a whole 360.
Yeah, the grammar doesn't read well. It reads like someone who's very angry, and it comes across as like it's just a massive shift, a 180. I'm not saying the previous narrative was correct. I think that was too soft. I think that they didn't represent the supporters well enough before. But this one, I think it just comes across as like a super weird timing, super weird hill to die on. I don't think it makes much sense to me. Saba, how you doing, mate? Welcome, mate. Well, I mean, I sorry, guys, I haven't really watched either of your shows. I know you've been streaming all day, so I wanted to kind of to wait and hear your opinions on this fresh. Sava, what's your take on the whole supporters trust thing?
Yeah, look, I don't think it's this great big groundbreaking bit of news that we think it is. I just don't believe the supporters trust have ever had the influence that goes with the title of the name, right? It's like, now, like when 20-year-olds join a company and they're like junior director, but really they're not a director. They got nothing to do with it, right? It's like
they're still the T-boy.
Yeah. Told what to do by someone more senior.
Yeah. It's kind of, listen, I'm not knocking them. I just don't think it's the weight behind it. I just said to Henry, had this have been a couple of ex-players that were closely linked to the club and have now flipped and
like
gone,
Dawson and Legley King.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. If this had been a few people that had gone out and said, right, you got to protest and blah, blah, blah. If it had been, that an ex-manager that said, you know what, it's so bad down there. Like if Harry Redknapp comes out and goes, even when I say Harry, I don't use an H, like Harry, right? You think to yourself, yeah, but them telling me to protest about ticket prices 2 months after ticket prices have gone up feels weird. Like, first and foremost, Sean, obviously you and I had this chat before. I don't agree with the ticket price increase, but why now? Why are we doing it now, 10 days before the season starts? And equally, I'll be honest, if I'm going to protest, it's not about the ticket prices. If I'm going to protest, it's going to be about many other things about how this football club is run before the ticket prices, because of this. Henry's going to hate. He's just heard me saying this. I've been on stream a couple of times talking about this.
Go on, mate.
It's the topic of the day. The thing for me is this. It's all well and good protesting, right? But until the ground isn't full every match game, until the ground isn't full for every NFL game, every boxing match, every WizKid concert, until nobody's turning up to do the Skywalk on a daily basis, until the club shop stops having to get more and more staff to cope with the amount of people buying merchandise, it doesn't matter. They don't care. They're earning their money. They built this, Sean, for this very purpose. They built this to be this money-making revenue stream. They don't care. They sold out, Sean. They sold out, what is it? Man United at home, Sheffield United at home, and Liverpool at home in 40 minutes.
Right. So doesn't that make the argument then? Could you not make the argument on that basis that they were generous in only raising the price? I'm playing devil's advocate here, because this is all I like to play devil's advocate, and this is shameless. This is a shameless show, right? We're doing this. I'm doing this to invoke debate. So for what it's worth, before I say it, I don't think the price rises were necessary. Do I agree with them on principle? No. Do I agree with them as a business model? 100%. And you could make the argument that they could have gone higher. You could also make the argument that they could have raised the season tickets and they still would have made more money. And as a business, that isn't necessarily something to knock. As a business, as a football club, as a fan base, the fact that they have withheld the price rises on season tickets 2 years running, and no other Premier League club has done that, and the fact that they haven't raised the prices for 4 years apart from this, no other Premier League club has done that as far as I'm aware. I couldn't find the stats, but as far as I'm aware, I don't necessarily find this whole thing as abhorrent as everyone else does. And Sabra, I take your point, mate. I take your point. Is it the right thing to protest about? To me, no. Like, get over that. Be angry about the fact that there's no centre-backs in. Be angry about the fact that we're kicking the can down the road with all that stuff, right? Be angry. And I am angry about that. If you're going to protest about the lack of effort in the window. Be angry about other things, about a price ticket rise that every other club has gone through. Fulham, by the way, now have got the highest season. Fulham have got the highest season ticket prices in the Premier League. Arsenal have got a higher...
Well, they do act better than us in the transfer window, so I understand it.
Calvin Bassey, aren't they? And we're still sitting in. Speaking on the centre-backs, Rob Guesty, who's Ali Gold's, not like the guy who works on the football owner side of it.
Junior director.
Yeah, junior director. Apparently we're going to make a bid for Tottenham and Bio in the next day or so.
Yeah. I mean, look, can I tell you, Sean, what frustrates me about this? It's the number of people that don't quite understand what Enoch and Levy set out to build and did build. It's the number of people that still are under this illusion that football was the first thing on the forefront of their mind, even though, Sean, 23 years ago, they clearly said it's not. Right? So, for example, what I'll say is Lee Trend, who's trying to have a dig at me in the chat, said, Sava, most of the other events are filled with mostly non-Spurs fans, so your point is moot. But isn't that the point? That it doesn't matter whether it's Spurs fans. If it's Spurs fans, the Spurs games are packed every game, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
Every game.
Yeah.
If it's NFL fans, the NFL games are packed every game. If it's WizKid fans, if it's Beyonce fans, Stone Roses, there is never a time where the stadium's not packed.
Also, just for what it's worth, if we're going to play the moral hazard game of saying we're raising prices into a cost of living crisis, and at the same time say raise the prices on the Beyonce fans, but at the same time say you're pricing Tottenham fans out of a ticket, Tottenham families out of tickets to see the game, are you not shepherding and shifting that responsibility onto the father of 4 girls who wants to go and see Beyonce? Oh, screw them. They're not Tottenham fans. Let's raise the prices on that. If you've got to raise money somehow, put it somewhere else. As a moral conversation, is it not the same thing? Like if we're putting on an event, Tottenham are putting on an event, like I don't like, to me, I just feel like there's no pride. I hate to sound so like I hate to come across like I'm a Scrooge or whatever who says this, but just take your hat off for a second and get back to reality of business. If you're a family, if you're a father of or a mother of a family of 5, you can't afford to go to Tottenham at this price point, but you could at the previous price point. Mm-hmm. What about the families that couldn't afford the previous price point? What about the families who are Tottenham fans who are unemployed? They can't afford any price point. Like this argument that we're suddenly pricing these families out at this price point, that same argument could be made at any particular price point. There's always a family that can't afford to see Tottenham. Like, and it's the same with Disney. You want to go to Florida? Everyone wants to take their kids to Florida. Not everyone can afford to do it. I hate to sound soulless, but that's just life. That is the world that we live in to a degree.
You've been dealt.
I don't know. Like, I maybe it sounds horrible to say it, but this is a shameless show. You know, that's what we're going to say.
Mate, what annoys me is we. Like, I'll give you an example, right? Arsenal had Arctic Monkeys 2 concerts at the Emirates back in June. Following week, right? Arsenal fans are going, oh yeah, we ended up like Tottenham. Arsenal go and put bids in for Declan Rice. I have no problem with all these events that go on. I get it. It enables us, our revenues go up, which then enable us to go and spend more in the transfer market, right? Because we can say, hey, look at our books. We've raised 400 million quid or whatever, or 200 or 100 million quid, whatever the number is. Problem is, we go into Windows and don't do that, and then we're protesting against tickets. Mate, genuinely, I'm not joking. If KANE goes and we don't sign centre backs, we generally could finish anywhere between 8th and 15th. Yeah. Maybe not 15th, 8th and 13th. That, like, we should be protesting the fact that we finished out of Europe for the first time in 15 years. That should be worth a protest.
100%.
It's not acceptable at this football club that Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, Brentford and Fulham were in the Championship 4 or 5 years ago.
For anyone who didn't believe it, Fulham having the most expensive season ticket in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, I'll show you this.
Yeah, people were saying it's not true. It is. Apparently they've got one at 3,000 plus.
Yeah, look, here you go.
It's mental.
I got the stats here.
Oh, so hang on. Fulham... Is that the most expensive ticket or the cheapest ticket?
No, so here you go. The most expensive versus it doesn't show the average expense. Like, so there's always going to be.
Okay, but look at
you can read these.
Ticket.
You can read these how you want to read them, right? That's the problem with
Fulham's
anything like
most
this.
Expensive ticket is 50%, give or take, more than Tottenham. Tottenham, I believe, are second with the most expensive ticket. But that most expensive ticket comes alongside, you get fucking like beers for the game and programs. Maybe you do with Fulham as well. Maybe you get a massage or a handy shandy or something. I don't know. But then the least expensive season ticket is Arsenal. Right, so Tottenham are not the bottom, not the top of the least expensive, nor are they the top of the most expensive.
Look at Liverpool.
Right, but there's geographical context here. Right?
I get that, but that's a proper football club, right? That goes and wins trophies.
Oh, we're a proper football club.
No, we're not, are we? Let's be honest. Like,
I'm surprised that Chelsea's is where it is, to be honest. I would have thought
940 for the most expensive season ticket in the only club in London that's won the Champions League and the most decorated football club in the Premier League the last 22 years.
Do you know what? Luton isn't too far for me on a train. I might
hang on, their most expensive season ticket is the same price as the cheapest ticket.
Yeah, but there's only about 400 seats in the stadium, and you've got to walk over. Like,
you've got to walk through people's living rooms to get to it.
It's true. Yeah, look, Burnley. It's obviously no surprise that Burnley, Luton, and Sheffield United are the cheapest on both ends, right?
Hang on, where's West Ham's on there?
West Ham are 310 at the bottom end.
My fan club are out in force tonight.
Hang on, where's West Ham? Sorry,
it's sixth down.
£310.
Yeah, but you have to take your binoculars to the stadium, mate.
Mate, they've just won a European trophy.
Yeah, but you might as well stay at home and watch it. You get on your roof and you might have a better view.
It doesn't matter though. They've just won a European trophy. Their fans can cherish that. That's bigger than anything we've done the last 30 years.
It's been forgotten about very, very quickly. Let's be honest. No,
it has,
all West Ham fans care about right now is who's replacing Declan Rice.
Listen. Even when we're talking about those ticket prices, look. At the end of the day, I'll say this: if people want to pay the ticket price, you pay the ticket price. If you don't want to pay the ticket price, don't pay the ticket price. Like it's kind of like I feel like it's quite an obvious thing, but as I'll say, Spurs sold out in 40 minutes. We sold out our first 3 home games in 40 minutes. So clearly the problem isn't people's willingness to pay it. So people are willing to pay it. I don't agree with it. It's really difficult.
And not everybody that goes to that stadium has got on a plane from Korea or come over from America. That's nonsense. There might be a disproportionately, surprisingly high amount of people that come over as tourists, but it's not 60,000. It's not 30,000 of the stadium. There might be 2,000 or 3,000.
Of course it's not. Look. This is why I won't pay. Like loads of people having a dig at me, like you don't take action. My action is I won't put money in their pockets. I won't directly pay for a match day ticket, right? So at the end of the day, but I'll ask what I asked just on Henry's channel, my channel before, Sean. The number of people that have given me stick tonight. Henry's got loads of stick tonight, and in general about not protesting. Hundreds and hundreds of people. There are 800, as far as I can see, you'll probably tell me 890 people in your chat right now, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Right. Where, if all of these people that are so quick to have a go at me, have a go at Henry, and have a go at you, where are they at the protests?
I agree, mate.
This is what I don't like. We put our face to our opinion, and it allows these people to just have a go at you. That's cool, but all of these people, I'm guessing that the likes of Phil P and Stell and Daigle and all these people that do go, I'm guessing they don't see any of these people, but they're coming in going, "Oh, you're a hypocrite." How? I won't spend my money.
You're getting a lot of support, mate. You're getting a lot. Oh, mate, I genuinely tend to think that people that come to watch my channel are fairly balanced because I try to put out the good and the bad and the ugly on every topic. So I think people generally tend to appreciate. There are some names here that
no matter what chat you're in, you're going to get trolled.
No, of course. Listen, I'm cool with that. All I know is this: if these people keep protesting, listen. Fair. I can't keep saying it, guys. Fair play to them. I'm not telling anyone not to protest. Right?
100%,
fair play to them. If they protest, and as a direct consequence of them protesting, Tottenham decide to sell their cash cow because 300, 400, 500 people have protested, I hold my hands up and go, do you know what? Well done, guys and girls. You guys have done a great job for this club. However, the sensible side of me that is 40 and that understands the world, right, is saying they own a business which is now worth 4, 5, whatever they charge billion.
Mm-hmm.
They make revenue every year. It's only going to get more and more as the stadium is open longer and longer. Why are they selling? Why do we think they're going to sell because a few fans are disgruntled? It's not going to happen. That's the adult side of me, not the young football fan that is passionate about them going. I hate them. I just don't think they're going anywhere.
The only way you do it. Go on, Henry. Sorry, mate.
Why would you go? If you're on the Tottenham board, right? You just given Levy a £500,000 pay rise,
right?
When they bought this football club, they bought it for 20 million. Why would you want Levy to go if you're on the board? And just quickly to divert quickly, Mohamed Saluso has just signed a 5-year contract as a Monaco player from Southampton for 15 million euros.
Yeah, he's a clumsy player, mate. He's a clumsy player. I didn't want him.
But Southampton, right, are selling dead wood in their team or players in their team. We can't even flog. Who knows?
Yeah, because but you know what? This is the thing. It sets precedents. What I love about transfer windows is if you're paying attention, like you guys are, like I do, to everything else that happens, you see the precedents that are set. If Salisu or Salisu, however you want to say,
however you say his name, you know what you mean.
Yeah, no. If he's 15 million euros, then what is Davinson Sanchez? I know Salisu was part of a relegated team last year, but he's a better defender than Salisu. He's a much better defender than Sanchez. Right, much better defender than Sanchez, and yet we are forced to maybe accept the deal with Spartak Moscow. I don't know.
He doesn't even want to go. Let's be honest.
Well, listen, to be fair, drone strikes. I don't know if you guys saw it on the news, but drone strikes hit high rise, the posh area of Moscow yesterday. So the war's coming to Moscow, apparently. So I wouldn't want to go there if I was Davinson Sanchez. Let me just get through a couple of super chats and some membership stuff. Steve D, appreciate your super chat. He says raising prices when you're giving customers less. He doesn't like it. I don't know. Listen, the prices are based on this season, not last season. I know, without being too getting into the semantics of it. You're paying for what you're going to see, not what you did see. But listen, I tell you, I appreciate everyone's view on this. I know it's a sensitive topic, and it's not a hill I want to die on. If Daniel Levy decided not to put the prices up, I wouldn't be sitting here saying they should. If they put it up higher, I would feel...
Yeah, but no one would be sitting here going against the ticket prices if they went out and bought a DM, 2 good centre-backs, a left wing, a right wing, and a right back. We'd all be going, I'd happily pay 80 quid because I know we're going to get good football and we're going to compete. But we don't do that. We do the complete opposite.
I agree. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, it's just really, really simple. It's really simple. If people don't want to pay that money, don't pay that money. I won't pay to watch this crap, right? I won't pay. If that makes me a bad fan, I'm a bad fan. If Spurs get their act together, put a plan in place, start buying proper players that makes me think, why am I going to part with... It's like... Sorry, sure, just really quickly, right? It's not just like, if somebody says to me, right, this ticket's going to be 80, 90 pound this weekend. It's not just the 80, 90 quid, is it? Right? I've now got to pay to get there from my house. I've got to eat. I'm going to drink. You're going to socialize, right? You're going to buy a program, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're now nearly 200 quid down.
Right, but the rest of that stuff's not on Daniel Levy, is it?
No, of course it's not.
People make that narrative. Oh, no, of course it's not. When it's already 200 quid to get me and my family to the game. I don't know if that's Daniel Levy's
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, for me, if I'm paying that amount of money, right, for me, let's go back to the basics. If I'm paying 80, 90 pound a ticket, forget all the rest then. I don't want to watch Oliver Skipp. I don't want to watch Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer, Ben Davis, Ryan Sessegnon, Jed Spence. I don't want to watch Lo Celso might come good. I don't want to watch, you know what I mean? Richarlison might come good. I want Spurs to go out and act like a proper club with a plan, and I don't want it to be one window. Get in the good players, then have another window next year where you go, oh God, we've got a plan here, and attract people to the club. At the moment, they're charging that. It's not worth that, so I don't go. But they're not struggling to sell out. That's the point. They're not struggling to sell out. It's
I
not
agree.
like they're doing bog-offs, is it?
Sav, what did we talk about earlier? Right? To mark this week's release of the new TMNT movie in UK cinemas, the club is collaborating with Paramount UK on a range of turtle-themed activities, events, and merchandise during the school summer holidays. You can get a Tottenham Ninja Turtle. Who cares? So seriously, look, I'll share the screen. I'm not joking. Seriously, look. Share that screen, Sean.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Where is it?
There you go. It's down the bottom.
It's just
Look, it's like one of your thumbnails, Henry.
Who cares about Ninja Turtles?
Henry, please make this your thumbnail tomorrow and just have a full-on Henry rant where you fall off the chair, and please, it'll just be brilliant.
Don't worry. There is going to be a rant tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
It is. Guys,
in the same day. Sorry, gosh, sorry.
Yeah, just a little bit real quick. KPV, big up KPV, member for 9 months. What's happening, KPV? Hope you're okay, my man. He says, big up Sean and Henry. This was sent out before you came on, Saba, but I'm sure he says,
don't worry about you, Saba, mate.
How about you, mate? How about Saba?
Big up
KPV. Thank you for your continued support. Phil P, big up Phil with the super chat. Appreciate you, my man. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Wow, he's coming out with some philosophical stuff there. Remind me, Phil. Who said that? I forget who said that. Was that with Churchill, or was it someone?
Enjoy the protest when you then go and spend your money, Phil, and go and watch the game. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Oh, a little dig at the Phil. He's got a purple and gold scarf with a nice.
Phil, you shouldn't be spending your money at Nando.
The crisp white, new home kit beneath it. For him and his four
big up, Phil.
Wow, big up, Phil. Love it. Loves music in the house. Big up, Loves. Good to see you, mate. There's a 98,000 people waiting list for a season ticket.
You'll never sing that.
You'll never sing that.
but you know, people still think there'll be a way where the ground isn't full every week.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, haven't they just had to expand the Shakhtar Donetsk to the upper tier? They didn't think they were going to get the upper tier demand, and now they have. So the upper tier is now open for tickets. As far as I'm aware, they're
laughing. They are laughing. They are all the way to the bank. They're laughing. Do you know what? I reckon they sit in the boardroom and go, "What are we going to do about the protest where there was a couple of hundred people?" And I reckon they're going to go. I reckon they just go, "Nothing." Anyway, next order of business. I don't think enough people care about it. That's the problem. As we've always said, you're going to have. I'll make up some stats. These are made up. You're going to have, let's say, 33% of the fan base that want ENIC out, 33% that want ENIC in, and 33% who don't have an opinion, 33% who just want to go. They've gone for the last 20, 30, 40 years. They just want to go and watch their club play, and have done with it. All the while that 2/3 outweighs this third, all the while that stadium is full every week. I'm still waiting for one person to give me a solid answer, Sean, when I say, why will they sell it if we protest? I'm waiting for that answer.
They won't sell, mate. Look,
no, I know, Sean, but that's my point.
I'm with you, mate. I'm 100% with you.
If they're not being hurt in the pocket, why will they sell?
Even if they are being hurt in the pocket, how hurt do they need to be in order for it not to make sense? Right, when they've aligned the gentrification of Tottenham to it, and listen, it doesn't matter how bad Tottenham are on the pitch; those flats will still be sold at 450 grand a pop, right? 500 grand a pop, because it's within 20 minutes of central London. Right, I'm sorry,
Sean. It's a most. Listen, I hate them. I hate them. I will celebrate the day that I wake up and I see that Tottenham have agreed to sell to insert name, right? But as I've said, there's a difference between my emotional state as a football fan and me having the understanding of they built it like I was saying this to Henry just now. if I build something with one thing in mind, but it turns out to be something else much bigger and better, I might think about selling it because I'll go, oh, I've hit the jackpot here. Boom, I'll sell it. But they built this, Sean, with this in mind. They built this with a NFL pitch underneath. They built this with concert.
All the external revenues.
They built it with all that external revenue in mind. So for me, until somebody comes along and says there is, and I think the number of, I've always said this, I think the number is going to be 4.55 billion because of how it's set up, ready for everything.
The next guy, yeah.
Until somebody turns around and goes, there's 4.55 billion. 100%. I do not think Levy and Enoch, whether I want them to or not, removing my emotions, I don't think that they will turn around and go, you know what, we've got to sell this because the football fans aren't happy.
Tell me the last football club that actually sold because of protests.
Newcastle United.
No, Newcastle United spent 15 years under Ashley.
Yeah, and they protested for a lot though, but
they protested for a decade.
And how much did they sell for?
350 million.
350 million.
And Sean, what was Newcastle?
What do you mean? What was Newcastle? It's just a one city team with nothing else behind it. A football club.
Right. It's a football club where they turn the lights on at midday on a Saturday, turn the lights off at 6 o'clock on a Saturday, and then come back there 14 days later.
But my point is, Mike Ashley didn't care about the protests. He had his price, and he waited until the price was met.
Of course.
Do you really think Levy's going to go, God, there's 400 people outside. There's a couple of thousand people outside. Oh, wait, we've just sold out in the first 10 home games. We've got 2 NFL games booked for October. UFC London's coming next February.
And by the way, we've got 1,000 flats that we're going to be selling off plan in about 6 months' time. That's going to bring in about 300 million.
He's one of the smartest businessmen in the UK.
Try again, Henry.
I can't speak today. He's a smart guy. Right, leave me alone. Right.
You know what?
He's a smart guy.
You know what I would say, Henry, mate? He's not that smart when it comes to new accounting. Right? He's obviously an accountant, right, and a brilliant accountant.
Yeah, but that's when you get people that do know about that and you get them employed.
He hasn't adapted, which is my fury with him. Is based. The reason why I'm so angry with him now more than ever was before is because he hasn't adapted to the new FFP, and you've got clubs like Newcastle. Especially Todd Bowley, fair play to him. Like I'm in the mud, I guess, because I genuinely looked at him and thought this guy ain't got a clue what he's doing. He hasn't got a clue. He came in thinking that Chelsea had a guaranteed right to Champions League football, and maybe he doesn't have a clue about football, but he's brought people in that understand accounting techniques, and he has found a way to extend the long end of the curve with his amortization, and by selling players like Mason Mount and Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek and all that stuff, which are homegrown players where that money gets lifted straight onto the balance sheet right now. He has found a brilliant, magical way of being able to do what he's doing with the finances. Daniel Levy, to me, is a little bit like a lost boy when it comes to the new age version of accounting practices. Yeah. And I think that's a real shame.
I think what people need to be able to do is determine the difference, right, between me and Henry and you understanding that Levy isn't going anywhere anytime soon versus whether or not we would like it to, right? Or wouldn't like. Do you know what I mean? And look, this is only going to get better for Daniel Levy. Yeah, you watch, they'll ramp up in the next 2-3 years. They'll ramp up the number of NFL games that take place each year, the number of concerts that take place each year. They'll have boxing deals in place at some point with the likes of DAZN and Matchroom and all these people. They will get those deals. This is what Daniel Levy lives for. And when those deals happen, every single time there's an event at Tottenham, it is ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. So when they're, again, sitting around the boardroom, for them to turn around and go, right, how bad would it need to be for us to sell this club? Surely, I'm not going to pretend I'm really clever or anything. Surely one of the first things you'd look at is go, right, what's our revenue like from this football club? Right, the revenue's still good. All right, we've had a slight dip, but we can make that up by doing this, and this. Right? Is everything packed? Yeah. Is everyone buying our merchandise? Yeah. Is everyone buying our food and drink? Yeah. Right? What's the need to sell? The need to sell will be if an offer comes in from someone and they go, hang on, that's the magic number. I've said this for years, by the way. This isn't new. What's the magic number? Hang on, they've come to the table with a 5 billion bid. Let's hear them out. But what will happen is all of these protests will happen. Then when leaving it finally decide to sell, it will be, there you go, the protesting worked. And
told you.
I don't think that's the case, but you've got a great question. Who actually sold it? Because people use examples to me like, look at Man United, they protested. The Glazers are still there.
Exactly.
And how can they protest?
Tell me when protest, Henry. Tell me when has protesting worked?
Well, how can you protest against the Glazers when they've just gone and they've spent? I know that they haven't spent out of their own pocket, but in terms of what the club revenue makes, they put a lot of it back into the team, and they've delivered trophy after trophy after trophy. We haven't won anything in 15 years. Like, protesting does not work unless the owner has in his mind he wants to sell. 2,000 people outside will get a bit of headlines, and you might be doing interviews for TalkSport, but in the reality of it, right?
Henry, if you support a club where it's not a 62,000 seater stadium, right? And let's say you've got a 15,000 seater stadium and you're a club.
10,000.
No. I'm not even going to Premier League. I'm going lower than that, right? And every single person is in the same boat. Yeah, let's just say our chairman's called Jones. Jones out. Jones. If it's 15,000 people, every single one of them, and it's just a football club, there's none of this circus to go with it like NFL and boxing, then yeah, as an owner, you'd be like, oh my God, everyone in this stadium wants me out. Yeah, I'm not making the revenue that the big boys are making. Do you know what? This isn't worth it. But Daniel Levy is the complete opposite to that. And these people that think he's just going to walk away and leave, right? If these people haven't realized, this guy doesn't operate with emotion.
Yeah.
This guy is ruthless and a billionaire because he operates with this, not with this, right? I hate him. I can't say this anymore. So when I see people in the chat saying things like, it's better to not, better to do something than nothing, cool. But I don't see it like that for my personal time. I see it that I'm wasting my time against a guy that Rant said this to me earlier. Sorry for ranting, but Rant said this to me earlier. He said, you know what? I said, God, they're not even, I said, they're not in the same room as us, if you know what I mean. Like, they're not, they're not in the same room as us. Like, they don't get the room. And he said, what do you mean? They're in the room next door. I said, they're not even in the same building. They don't care. When we're like, read the room, they don't care.
Read the postcode.
They don't care. Look at today. Ticket prices 2 hours later. Look what we're doing with the Ninja Turtles film. Like, they don't care.
And this is the problem, mate. Until the reality, like I've always said, when I went Sheffield United away, that was a big, like, I saw, it's only the 2 away days last year, and that was one of them. And atmosphere before the game was bouncing, and I saw Crackers, and I had a chat with him, and I was like, what's your thoughts on this and this and this? And he said, everyone's got their own breaking point. And I was like, you are right, but it's not going to be, I think for us, for everyone to have a mass, and I'm talking 30,000 people outside the ground, the only way that happens is if this football club gets relegated. Nothing. Yeah, it does not matter if we finish 5th, runners up in the Champions League, 8th, our worst season in 15 years. It won't matter if we don't win a trophy for the next 15 years. That won't matter. Because Levy, in my personal opinion, and Tottenham and ENIC have changed the culture of the fan base in the sense that we are no longer... I don't
know. I take a little bit of exception. I hear this all the time that by pricing up the tickets, you're pricing out the Levy out.
No, it's not. I'm not coming from that angle. I'm coming from the fact that the price of the tickets is irrelevant. I'm coming from the fact that we're no longer, football is no longer the aim for this football club. is to maximize profits. And that's why Sava said they got revenue coming from this angle, that angle, this angle, that angle. It does not matter. Like we're earning 20, apparently, I don't know if the maths is right, but we're earning 20 million this year off of 4 NFL games. The 20 million might not sound like a lot, but it's all the contracts they've got behind it.
Oh, it is. It's a lot. Of course, it's a lot.
Yeah, but it might not sound like a lot.
Revenue.
You think that's not even a centre back in terms of like football transfers. I'm sorry, it's not a lot. But then you think this year alone, right? We've had 10 different events on at the stadium this year alone. 10 different
2023.
Events. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're limited, aren't we? We're limited to how many. But I think apparently I think we can only have.
When I mean events, I mean like Lady Gaga, Guns N' Roses.
I think we got in trouble for having one too many. And then I think next year we've got an extension on that, so we'll be able to get 2 or 3 more squeezed in as long as it doesn't.
Apparently, we're going to have. Well, it depends if you want to believe the ITKs or not. Apparently, we're going to have 18 events next year, and some of them will be up to a 5-day period. You look at this year, right? Beyonce's longest tour, like when they go to I'm in Munich this day, I'm in Stockholm the next day. The longest date in her tour, in terms of days in a row at her tour, was at Tottenham Stadium. Yeah. We broke our own rule.
Do you reckon she stayed in Hotspur way?
Probably. This is the problem. I have no problem if there's 18 events, but then go into the transfer market.
Right, well, this is the thing. This is the thing for me, Henry. I 100% agree with you. I've always said I want that stadium to be used 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, as long as 2 things happen
for the club. I'm all
as long as it doesn't screw up the football pitch. And as long as we put the money into the transfer market, that's why I'm as angry as I am right now, because this summer we haven't really shown that.
And this is why protesting won't matter, because if we lose out on the 20,000 tickets that sold at Tottenham, the following day we'll have 80,000 on the pitch and in the stadium watching bloody Beyonce. So it's irrelevant. It does not matter.
The thing is, Henry, do you know what I love is whenever I have this conversation with people, whether it's people in the chat, whether it's people in the pub, whether it's whoever, lots of people go, "Oh, we just got to boycott the stadium." Cool. Okay. How does that work? Most of the tickets are paid for. How does that work? Like
so I'm going to throw 50 quid down the drain. People aren't going to do that.
But the thing is, okay, so just roughly, guys, it's a 62,000 seater stadium. Do we know how much? Do we know how much of that 62,000 is season tickets?
Roughly. It's 39 or 41,000.
Yeah, it's about 60%.
Yeah. 40,000 season ticket holders. There you go. That's all paid for. Done. Right? Those people are not going to not go. Now, that means you've got 20 to 22,000 tickets available for every single game, which I'm guessing will go to, I'm guessing, one Hotspur members and, and then the so forth layers after that. Right. So what we're saying is now we need those 22,000 seats every single week to not be bought by someone who wants to go and watch Tottenham Hotspur for the ground to be boycotted. That's just, I love the idea. I love the sentiment. It's not reality.
Yeah.
It's not reality.
So what? Okay, yeah, listen, I understand what you're saying, Sam. I do want to move, because I've only got you guys for another half an hour. I do want to move on to this 2 or 3 other topics I want to talk about that are away from this. But just to round it off, I think we're all in kind of conclusion here that, like, we all support the right to protest. We all support the rationale for it. If you want to feel better about your resentment, like, have at it, right? Like, do what you want to do. I personally don't think it's going to help. I don't think Saba does. I know he's made that point clear. I don't think Henry. I think you made your point clear as well. I think we're all on the same page that really the club is owned by a guy who makes money regardless. And me personally, my take is that I don't really care about any of these things as long as the money gets directed into the football club. I think you guys would all share the same argument. Unfortunately, the reality is that it doesn't look like as much money as could be being redirected is. You look at other clubs that are spending more that don't have as much. So that's a frustration. But if protests don't work, generally, then are we all just kind of lemmings in a very intelligent man's game? And
I'll give you an answer to that, Sean. When you go onto the Tottenham's website to buy a ticket, you have a client number. You don't have a Tottenham ID, do you? You have a CRN number, client number. We are clients to Daniel Levy. We are all numbers on a spreadsheet. It's
Like
until
prisoners in a prison, yeah, just numbers.
until the club wants to sell, that is when we will get change. It does, mate. Honestly, it does not matter. Whatever you, the only real way it happens is if we get relegated, right? Or 60,000 people walk out game after game after game after game, and people aren't gonna buy tickets to
but
walk out.
this is going on the assumption, Henry, that all 62,000 people in the crowd want the owners to go. That's
They
the
don't.
problem.
We're in the minority.
That is the problem, right? Do you know what? If I truly believed that all 60,000 people going were ENIC and Levy out, I'd go. I'd go and join in the complete.
Sheffield United say to me, I mean, we nearly come to fisticuffs, right? But this guy said to me about we're better run than Chelsea. Our owners have got more ambition than Man United, and you're not a Tottenham fan if you can't see what Daniel Levy's doing. So I turned around and said the same sentence that I say to every fan is, how do you measure elite sport? And he said winning. And I said, right, that's fine. But most people don't really care about who owns their football club, providing they show ambition. Some people might say it's not morally correct. I don't like it. But a lot of football fans don't care who runs their football club as long as they say, I want Tottenham to win. My aim is to win trophies. I guarantee you, if Tottenham won the Champions League, it would be one of the greatest nights of everyone's lives. No one would go.
No, you're right, Henry.
Oh,
you're bang on, mate. Listen, I used to be someone.
Hold on.
Oh,
My
he's
camera's
gone.
turned off.
His camera's gone. I used to be someone that was. I made the argument. I wasn't someone necessarily subscribed to it, but I like I say, I always like to position things broadly, see what people think about it. Better the devil you know. Like, do you really want people to come in who don't necessarily represent your general vibe around cultural stuff? Do you really want sovereign wealth money, all that sort of thing? But as time's gone on, my mind has shifted. Like, new information's come to market, and you have the willingness or the right to adapt to. Is he here or not? He's gone. As time changes, like as new information comes, you can pivot a little bit. And I think that right now, the only way that Tottenham win a trophy is if you go and find a sovereign wealth fund. You go and get somebody who's connected to one of the few sovereign wealth funds that are currently unconnected. Maybe Brunei, maybe somewhere out there, Sava. I don't know. Do you think, are you open-minded to any new owner coming in? Anyone, as long as they're willing to spend money, regardless of what their, what the political ramifications might be. I don't want you to, I'm not trying to get into political debates. I don't want your I don't want you to.
Yeah.
Look, are you open-minded to any of it?
I'm open-minded to it because look, I feel like we can look at anyone from any background and find a reason why they shouldn't be owning a football club, right? Whether that's religious beliefs, whether that's fraud, whether that's oil, whatever that might be, there's always going to be a way to find that these billionaires haven't been above board. For me, I've been consistent with this for years now. I've never asked for the world. I've never asked for owners to come in and make us Champions League winners year after year and win Premier Leagues year after year. What I want is somebody to come in that cares about the club and puts a plan in place. Something that, as a fan, you go, do you know what? I like the way we're run. I like the way we run. All right, we do not win everything every year. But you know what? We've got a good academy. Yeah, we've got a plan. When we buy players, we know what the plan is. We know the formation we play. We know the style we play. I like that. That's all I've asked for, right? Unfortunately, at Tottenham, we've had 23 years now where all of those things have been done badly. Like the youth team for 23 years has been horrific. Let's be honest. People will go, Kane, all right, yeah, you can take the odd player out of every academy. But when you look at the other academies that are churning players, we've never done that in their time here.
Do you know that next odd player is going to be? That 5 or 6 years, it'll be Mikey Moore. Will be the next one.
But it might be. But look, the point is this, right? Is they haven't managed in that 23 years to get the academy right. In 23 years, by the way. They've not managed in that time to give us a philosophy. After 23 years of owning something, surely it should be a well-oiled machine, right? Yeah. Surely. That's been my issue. Look, would I love somebody like Man City's owners or whoever. I mean, you can chuck whatever owners you want in there, Man City, whoever, to come in and buy us. Sure. But unfortunately, I think this ship left its port before the stadium was built.
I agree, mate.
Hang on, Emery, right? Right. The one thing I'll say is, you know what? I was very vocal, if you can believe that, on Twitter and Facebook many, many years ago. And I was one of the people. So someone said, Sava, tell me one academy that produces gems year on year. I mean, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal.
But Man City and Chelsea both, that they buy the players.
Crystal Palace.
It don't matter. Palace bring through players.
I think Palace is a better example. I think Chelsea and Man City just buy players that are
Crystal Palace in 10 years will have the best academy in the country.
But we can nitpick all you want. They've implemented those academies. They've been there. They've implemented it. We could have done that. Never 100%. Have bothered, right? But getting back to the point, when I was vocal on Twitter and Facebook before the stadium was built, I was one of the few fans. And listen, I'll credit where it's due. There were other people I didn't know at the time. People like I saw Stel on Facebook and Twitter saying these things. I saw Brian. Didn't know who they were. I just knew the names. And we were a small army of people saying, this stadium isn't going to change this the way you think it is. And there were thousands of fans going, you're negative. You wait till that money comes in from the stadium. Watch.
It's exactly the same thing about the naming rights, mate. People make out like this naming rights deal is going to revolutionize Tottenham. It absolutely will not. If it's 25 million a year, I don't know what that really changes. It maybe makes the need to put ticket prices up.
But the thing is, they believed it, Sean. And I was sitting there telling people all that time ago, guys and girls, Levy and Enoch are not building this stadium for us to compete. You wait, you're negative, you'll see. You wait and see what happens when we've moved in. We moved in a long time ago and we're going like this. We moved in a long time ago.
Yeah, we are.
We're going like that.
Ever since we moved in, it's been terrible.
And they've done exactly what I thought they were going to do. They've done exactly what I thought they were going to do a long time ago, which is why when people say, again, to bring this back, when they say about protesting, what are we protesting now? They told you what they were building. They've
done every single thing they were going to do.
They've done what they said they were going to do. Now you've got it. Now, all of a sudden, some people who refuse to believe it have gone, hang on, they've not done this for us. No shit, Sherlock.
The problem is,
like,
last year and the year before and the year before and the year before, we've never really heard the hierarchy of the football club come out and say we want silverware, right?
Never heard them say.
Newcastle's owner, I can't remember what her name is, and her husband.
Yeah, I know when you talk about. Yeah.
Looks like a scary character. She took over and immediately said we want to win the league in 10 years. Now, they're probably a few years ahead of schedule because they probably didn't think they were going to get in the Champions League in the first year, right? And because Daniel Levy's an accountant and his job is to maximize and produce higher profit margins, the way for Champions League to get the 40, 50 million quid to finish 5th or 4th this season massively outweighs the £2 million you're going to get to win the FA Cup. Do you know how much you get if you win the League Cup? You get £250,000 prize money. Now, if you're Daniel Levy, you're going to be thinking, Daniel Levy, you're going to be thinking, hang on, 250 grand or 40 million quid. Now, to us fans, we go, oh, finally. You know, everyone, what annoys me as well, Savaries, everyone slates the League Cup massively. Oh, but it's a Tin Pot trophy. If you look at all the best managers the Premier League have ever had,
they've won it.
They win the League Cup and it becomes a springboard for bigger things. Jose, Alex Ferguson, Guardiola, Wenger, they all win that League Cup and then go, right, let's go and win something else. Jurgen Klopp. What we do is our fans belittle some of our fans belittle every trophy and then have the audacity to laugh at West Ham for running around winning the Conference League. If we won that, we'd be going berserk, mate.
Can I tell you what's really annoyed me about what they've done today? And I don't plan on having more and more of these conversations, by the way. It's only because this news is today. You boys saw that I got to a point with YouTube about 4 or 5 months ago No, 4 or 5 months ago, where I wasn't enjoying it because it had literally become about Levy out. You couldn't have a stream without talking about Levy out.
Yeah, you couldn't have a football debate, could you?
I don't want another year like that this year. I don't want another year where everything is Levy out. The owners, I hate them. They're not going anywhere. I've accepted that, right? But I do not want a full year of Levy out. What I want is a year of us going, okay, we bought some defenders in. Right, Postecoglou, what are you doing? I want football. Right, so by the way, after today, my content isn't going to be loads and loads of debates about, oh, should we protest, should we not? I find it boring. I'm a football fan, right? So that's my last thing I'm saying on that. Back to you, Sean.
No, back to you. You're done. I think we're all done on this particular topic, guys. There's still 900 people in the house. There's been 900 people the entire journey, basically. It's insane. We've got 382 likes or something like it. We should be on about 600 if you're all doing your job. It's free to do. Smash the like button.
Rent. Pay your rent.
Like when you go into someone's house, you take the shoes off. I'm not asking you to become a member or to do a super chat. Just hit the like button.
You can become a member if you want.
You can, absolutely. And it's we got a range of pricing. No, just smash the like button. Do me a favor, smash the subscribe button to the channel. Also, smash the subscribe to Football Heritage and to Henry TV. Both of their links are in the title, so you can just hit the
video.
You haven't even got to leave the video. Exactly, Henry, mate. Thank you very much. I want everybody who isn't here right now. There's 900 people here. Just if you haven't already hit the like button, if you haven't hit the subscribe on either 3 of these channels, then what you're doing, Cockeyed TV saying, where's the mods? Stop the spam. I don't have very many mods unless
Sean,
Ben.
I've just realised.
Sean, make me a mod. Sean, make me a mod.
Make both of us a mod.
I need to make some mods. Yeah, hang on.
You've called the episode Shameless.
I have called the episode Shameless. Yeah, that's what we called Shameless. This is what this is going to be.
Comment and make me a mod, and I'll be a mod in the chat.
How do I do that? How do I do the mods? I need to give.
You need to go into YouTube Studio.
Go to your studio where you see all the comments coming in. Click on the 3 dots, and it will say, "Do you want to make them a standard mod or a
managing moderator?"
You're a moderator, Henry. You're a managing moderator. Oh, I don't know what I'm giving away here.
Managing moderator means you can block other mods. So if you do make someone a mod, and all of a sudden
block other mods. All right. Who else?
I'll be a managing mod if you want.
Saba, can you put a comment in so I can make you a mod?
Yeah. I don't know why I hesitated. Yeah, of course I can. Yeah.
Zar Spurs.
There we go. I'm a mod.
Zar's been around. Zar's been a good guy. I'll make Zar a mod. He seems like a good guy. Where are you, Zar? Oh,
have you seen that? Wolfsburg have just signed a left back. I mean, I could be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 100, but
apparently they've got some. I don't know how. Big up 24Z.
Apparently, I'm going to make. I like Stinging Nettle. Stinging Nettle's a good guy. I'm going to give him a moderator.
Stinging Nettle.
There you go, Sean. Yeah. Good comment.
Apparently they've got some.
Where is he?
Some sort of financial issues. So they've had to sell. They're looking at selling a couple of players. Have you guys, the Daily Mail have put out in the last 20 minutes that Tottenham are reportedly Brentford have gone in with a £35 million bid for Nottingham Forest, Brennan Johnson, obviously to replace Ivan Toney, I'd imagine. I think he'll do well there. Tottenham are apparently interested at 35 million in the current market. I'd pay 25-30 million for Brendan Johnson.
Do you like Johnson?
Yeah, I'd pay that for him.
He's a good player. I think
I'm not that mad about him. I think he's all right, but I think he's
not that mad. But bearing in mind, like in the market, that most of the forwards, the forward market is already it's probably the worst it's been in a while in terms of strikers and that. But 25-30 million. For a player of Brennan Johnson, what did he get last year? 8 goals in the league.
I think the difficulty is, I think if we had the team sorted, I'm happy to buy a player like that and bed them into the team. Do you know what I mean? Like slowly but surely. I think the difficulty is if Spurs went tomorrow and dropped 40 million, let's just say, on Brennan Johnson, straight away, my first comment is probably going to be the same as nearly every other Spurs fan. Can he play centre half? Do you know what I mean? Like Have we bought Brennan Johnson to play centre half alongside Romero? I don't mind him as a player. I think with players like that, it's difficult to know, right? He came up, had his first season.
Got a lot of. I think he's got quite a lot of ability, mate.
I think he's got a bit. I don't doubt
50
that.
million, 50 million quid though.
No, not 50 million, like 30 million. It's not our money. We're not accountants.
He's English, isn't he? He's born in Nottingham.
He's Welsh. He's Welsh.
Oh, but that still counts as homegrown. So
yeah,
English tax and all that.
I think 30 million for Brennan Johnson is a much better.
What about Gift Orban? You got the man? You got any vibes on Gift Orban? Have you seen this guy play?
I've not. I've just heard good things about him. Sorry,
his stats. If you're a stat merchant, they are very good. But the problem is
sensational.
Victor Janssen had sensational stats in the Eredivisie. He broke the record at the time for the most goals. I don't want to be like that.
He's a tough. He reminds. He's built like. He's not tall. I don't think he's massive, but he's built like a bit of a boxer, and he's got a lovely, wonderful right foot on him. And he can drag. He does these little step overs and drifts and drags, and then pops the ball to the right into the right blocker. He's pacey. There's something about him that.
If he's everything that people say is, then get it done ASAP.
Well, I'm not sitting here saying that I don't watch the Dutch division, so I don't know. But what I've looked on him, what I've seen of him on Y-Scout, he looks like isn't he in Belgium?
Yeah, he's in Belgium.
Yeah, look, I again, lots of people seem to have seen him. He's one of those.
Right. Genk is
Belgium. Yeah.
He's one of those that I can't sit here and pass judgment on. His numbers look really impressive. And I guess this falls into if Ange would want him, then go and get him. We've had this debate loads of times. If Kane goes and you need to replace with a player, you're not getting Kane. So whoever you get is going to be very much hit and miss. It's going to be very much you're buying a lot of potential. So far in the chat, I've seen he's the next Osimhen, he's the next Mbappe. I mean, like
he's the next everyone. He's the next Harry Kane.
Someone said he reminds me a little bit of Obafemi Martins, the next Nketiah.
Yeah, the next Nketiah. Gee whiz, we'll leave him alone then, shall we?
Listen. I'll go and have a watch of him. I've heard his name for a long time, but never seen him play. Look, for me, I think the key thing is this. I trust Postecoglou, right? So if he's going to sign off a player coming in, especially in those attacking areas, I'm cool. What I'm worried about is the back. I know. I'm sorry. This sounds like a broken record. I think none of us would have sat here and thought.
Saba, are you a little bit like when you saw these links today from? I never actually saw Romano saying it on a tweet, so I'm guessing he must have said it on a podcast somewhere. All those aggregator Twitter accounts saying that we're still working on Van der Ven.
I'll tell you what, Sean. If you want to share your screen, I'll show you exactly what he said. And I'll share my screen with you. Present.
He shared it on his Twitch stream.
There you go, Sean.
Are we looking? Yeah,
there you go. That's what he said. Tottenham will do their best to give Ange Postecoglou what he needs. August will be a crucial month for the Harry Kane with Bayern deal, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, Spurs keep working on both Tapsoba and Van der Ven, waiting to pick the best centre-back for Postecoglou. Strap yourselves in. It could be a very busy month.
Strapyourselfin.com.
Strap yourself in. We've done nothing.
That's the title of my video tomorrow.
Same. No, I'm going to get out. I have to get up early then, mate. If you're putting it out,
I'll put it out of 6, mate.
It's already done. I'm taking the dog out for a walk at midnight so I can get it. I'll have to get a light.
I'll be going out at 11.
Let me ask you this, guys, right? For 2 questions. I'll start with you, Henry, on this one, mate. First and foremost, does it refresh any confidence that these deals are not done, not dead, like we thought they were last week? And secondly, my actual more crucial question is: does it concern you that there is nobody else linked with Van der Ven or Tapsoba?
Of course it does. Does it? Well, the first part. What is he actually really saying that he didn't say 5 weeks ago? There's nothing. He might as well copy and paste the same tweet, right? that he said 5 weeks ago.
Someone paid €1,200 for 10 minutes of his time to say that.
Yeah. Oh, gee, the price. I mean, don't get me wrong. He is literally the highest paid man on Twitter right now.
Oh,
Fair enough.
It's ridiculous.
He gets paid more than
He gets paid
anyone in life.
£88,000 a month from Twitter interactions. His
But you-
YouTube
you-
channel's got over 1 million subs.
€1,200 for
I make
8 minutes of your
84,
time.
so-
You annualize that out. That's a lot of money.
Like,
But are you both strapped in? That's the question. You're both strapped in.
yeah.
'Cause
So,
always
point
strapped in.
to your question. It is extremely worrying that we don't have some level of transfer knowledge of other players. You know, Brighton went in for Colwill, and then within 72 hours wrapped up the right centre back from
Eagle.
Fiorentina. What was his name?
Yeah.
Eagle.
I'll take your other centre back as well. Give me Milinkovic.
I'll take.
Milinkovic.
Yeah, I'll take
Milinkovic,
him.
whatever his name is. He's a good player. Mate, it's worrying. It's worrying. And this is the problem. When people say, oh, yeah, we're going to go and replace Harry Kane, right? We can't even replace the centre backs. So,
No, but if we are gonna, like,
I know we are eventually, Sean. But seriously, mate, the season starts in 12 days, and we're miles away. We've got
Listen,
Ronaldo.
I think what we're going to see, I think we're going to see 7 or 8 go out, and 3 or 4 come in the next 2 weeks.
I think
we're still going to have too many in the squad.
I don't think that at all. I really don't. I really don't.
I think in the next 5 days, 6 days, I'm going to make a prediction that by Monday there will be a bid on the table for tossing Adebayo.
Yeah, I think there'll be. I think Adebayo's coming.
And we will be close to signing Van de Ven, and they're going to be the two centre
backs. And you would take that, would you?
I'd take it if it was both of them. I'd take it if you said to me right now, we're going to sign 3 players, 2 of them are Tosin and Van de Ven. I'm taking that. Where we're sitting right now, beginning of the window, it would have been like, nah. Right now, this is what Levy does to us. Right now, I'm like, I'll take that.
How bad is it that we're looking at, like, the beginning of the window, we were sold Tapsoba and Bremer and whatever, and now we're signing a centre back from Fulham.
Mate, I'd play both of them as well, Henry.
He's a good centre back. Have you seen that
centre back? But
he's a good.
I'd play both of them, guys. I would start if those 2 came in. I would play Romero and Tosin at centre half, and I would play Van de Ven. I would play Van de Ven on the left for the pace and for his ability to get up and down.
So what happens to you, doggy?
Listen, listen. We've got to see about 90 minutes of this guy so far in pre-season. I can't judge him.
And he got absolutely buried defensively by Singapore's greatest plumber.
Basically, someone they got off of a Sunday league pitch in Singapore went, hang on.
Apart by Singapore's greatest fish tank.
Do you want to come and play for the Rowers? Like, mate, it's worrying because in my opinion, I looked through our 11 the other day, and I think to have a successful window, 5 players have got to go out in the next 12 days. And those players would be two of our defenders, Sanchez and Lloris.
That's the problem, though, right? That's one of the questions I had written down here for you both. Do you think that maybe part of the struggle to get players in is the fact we can't get players out because we have got Sava, as you pointed out on our WhatsApp group, we've got about 375 players on our team right now.
Yeah. Of course. Look, by the way,
I'll bring more in before you get rid of some, right?
By the way, I wasn't having a go at Udogie. I wasn't having a go at all. What I'm saying is we've had such a bad pre-season in terms of planning that we haven't had a chance to see any of these players properly. I can't judge Udogie on 45 minutes in which we completely dominated the ball in both games. I want to see how he does playing left back against Barcelona. Yeah. Right? The first game against Burnley, when Brentford, when he's got players like Mbomo and Kevin Schade running at him, that's when we're going to be able to see how good these players are. So, look, I think that
24Z, I absolutely do. Why I do it to wind you up, mate. The same with Basuma. The same with like There's a few players that I know how you feel, bro. I know how you feel.
He's the biggest advocate to, like, I love 24Z. He's in everyone's chat.
By the way, right?
He mentions me all the time on Twitter, but he's the biggest fan of Udogie and Basuma. Like, he's got them on his chest.
Listen,
And Pepe Sarr. Don't you dare sleep on Sarr. If you say something about Sarr, he's straight away in there.
I'm not saying I just want to see a Udogie. I think, somebody in the chat said to me, yeah, but, you're judging Udogie, but you haven't seen Van de Ven. But Van de Ven's an out-and-out defender. Van de Ven's first fault is as a player is to defend. That's his natural game. Udogie, I don't know if it is. Whenever I saw Udinese, which was very rarely, he was up the wing. So far, the 2 games I've seen from him, the one bit of defending I've seen him have to do, left a lot to be desired. So for me, I really want to make that defense solid. That for me should be all of our aim, right? I want to make that defense solid.
If we brought in Tosin Adarabioyo, Van de Ven, and a number 6,
yeah, I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy.
I'd give that.
Who's your 6? Who's your 6 that you take right now? First choice 6, second choice 6, third choice 6.
Oh.
I mean, I'm gonna get a lot of stick for this, but I know he's not an out-and-out DM, like an anchor 6. But I'm a bit of a fan of the players like Kessie, Douglas Luiz, Kessie as well.
Not out-and-out 6s, but work really hard and drop in and help out.
That work rate that they can. If we're, I want to see a manager just things like if we're 2-1 down. Screw it. Put a centre back in the box with the ball in. I just want to see something else that we're not counter-attacking Middlesbrough. If we brought in Kessie or Douglas Luiz or Fofana from Lens, or there's another one from Italy as well, not Amrabat.
I'll tell you what, Henry. Imagine our midfield 2.
Don't think he's got the pace. If you watch Kessie, sorry, Sava, 2 seconds. If you watch Kessie, he's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. If you have Kessie, Van de Ven, and I'm going to say this, but Van de Ven and Tosin, and then Romero on the bench, and then they can fight for that spot.
You're benching Romero if Tosin comes in.
Absolutely.
Oh wow! All right, okay.
Sava, would you bench Romero?
Holy!
Don't worry about what the chat
in the comments. Chat, let me know, and whilst you're at it, let me know what you think on Henry's comments. And whilst you're at it, there's 890 people still here. You haven't hit the like button yet. You haven't subscribed to Henry Wright. You haven't subscribed.
Hang on, 24Z saying Henry does it to wind people up. Me and Sava about a year ago had a massive back and forth on WhatsApp because I was like, Romero is the guy, and he was like, no, he's not. And
I've been consistent.
I've watched. And I think he's a good defender, but I don't think he's a great defender. There's a difference. Now, how old is?
Do you know what I think it is, Henry? More than football's a game of rotation, right? So for me, it doesn't need to be about
26.
It doesn't need to be about who are the main 2. For me, I want the option. That if Romero's not playing well, Van de Ven and Tosin, we're just using those 2 as the example. I want the option that I can change if one of them is not playing well. I don't want the option to be, well, Romero's the only good centre-half, so he has to play every game. That's what the other clubs can do. That's what I want to be able to do. And I don't think I'm asking for the world. Ideally, you want Tapsoba to come in, right? Ideally. But for me, listen, you might... Look, let's put a case out there. You might say, okay, Van de Ven and Tosin could be a good partnership, right? If you think about it like this, right? Van de Ven is a brilliant ball player. If anyone's seen him play, Van de Ven is brilliant on the ball, right? Yeah. So Van de Ven's very quick across the ground. He's very good on the ball. He's not afraid if an attacker's running at him. He doesn't just whack it away. He'll take them on. He doesn't mind that. He plays in tight spaces. If you put that next to someone like Tosin, who's dominant in the air, right, that might not be a bad partnership. So that tells me, okay, if Romero's in Argentina or Romero's injured, I'm not worried now. Now, this is, as I've said all season, everyone knows my thoughts on Romero. This is a big season for him. If we get a good centre-back in and Romero is still doing the same things he's been doing the last 2 years, What's the excuse going to be then? He's a good player, but for me, he's not done anything to get the plaudits that I think he's getting. I genuinely don't understand. Every other fan base doesn't rate Romero. Loads of our own fans now have started to go, yeah, he's really rash. But we have fans that go, give over. He won the World Cup. So did Mertesacker and Stefan Gavage and Mustafi.
Right.
So look, for me, yeah, Swanix is right. For me, this is make or break. If Romero's going to go on and be this world-class centre-half that some seem to think he is, he's got to have a brilliant year this year for me.
For him to be a world-class centre-half,
he's got to change a lot.
He needs to take out... I have no problem with his ball, with his ability of the ball at his feet. And I have no problem with his technical ability. It's the footballing brain he doesn't have. He runs 25 yards out of his line because he wants to be this warrior, right? And smashes someone in half. When you watch the Van Dijks, and before anyone says, oh, but Ramos did that, that's fine. Ramos turned up in a Champions League final and scores the equaliser. Ramos was part of a Spain defence that won the World Cup and Real Madrid the Champions League and Spain the Euros World Cup. Right? Romero doesn't have the footballing brain as it stands right now to be a world-class centre-back. If you put a Van Dijk next to him, and he's like, listen, hold your line. Stay where you are. There's no need for it. Let the midfield do it. Then it's our job if they get past us.
But my worry, Henry, is this is my worry with it about him is everyone's that keeps going, this can be coached out of him and this and that. He's not 19. He's not 20. He's 20. He's 25 years of age. My worry is he's been playing football all his career as a defender, right? I'm assuming since about the age of 6, 5, 4, he's been playing football. He's going to have been a footballer, right? He's been a professional footballer since the age of 17, 18. He hasn't knocked this side of the game out of him yet. And as I said, no one wants to forget what I say, right? Like people say Romero is class. What? Like people in the chat go, Romero's class. At what?
He's not.
This is what I'll say. What is he class in the air? No, he's bad in the air. Is he class with his composure? No. Is he class with his tackling? No, he's hit and miss. He's either good or rash. Is he class at organising, at leading? No. So I get it. He's the best defender we've got. But the bar is very, very low.
So he's the best ball-playing centre-back we've got. He's the best passing centre-back we've got.
Sure,
at the moment.
Sure.
He's
doesn't make you a top defender, though, does it?
No, but he's the best. He's the best person that can progress the ball that we've got.
The simple question I have is, how many teams in the Premier League does he start for?
12. 14.
Right. 14?
Yeah. No way.
He don't start starting.
Hang on a second. He starts for Luton. He starts for Sheffield United. He starts for Bournemouth. He starts for Burnley. He starts for Fulham. He starts for.
It'd be easier to say who he doesn't start for.
Hang on.
No, I'm halfway through.
He doesn't start for Chelsea. He doesn't start for Liverpool. He doesn't start for City. He doesn't start for Chelsea right now. No.
Yeah. I don't see what he's done.
What is Chelsea's team right now? Explain to me Chelsea's back four right now.
I'd take Thiago Silva over this guy in a heartbeat.
I'd take Badashile.
Tell me what Chelsea's starting back four is.
Yeah, but that's not the question here. The question here is
I don't know what we're comparing him to.
Reece James.
I'm not criticizing your point. I
don't
know. You're comparing him to their centre halves, which would be Thiago Silva. Obviously, Fofana's injured. Badashile, Chalobah. They've just signed what's his name from Monaco? Colwill. For me, again, I've not seen anything. Someone's saying Silva is like 38. Yeah,
right. He's still a Rolls Royce.
Like this is what makes me laugh.
So he doesn't get a Chelsea's team. Okay, fine. He doesn't. Does he get into Newcastle? Does he get into Newcastle?
No.
Above who?
Not over Botman. Not in a million years.
Over Fabian Schär.
What? No. Who was in a partnership that was the second best defense in the league or the best defense in the league?
Correct. But Fabian Schär, exactly. No, I'm not. Listen, I'm playing the other side of the conversation here. I think that Fabian Schär was fantastic last year.
Yeah,
in a fantastic team, but I don't think he's a fantastic player.
Yeah, but I don't think but he stood up and he was counted and he showed himself.
He plays right-sided centre-back, right? So let's look at
Romero
right-sided
doesn't.
centre-backs.
So you're saying that if Romero was to go to Newcastle, he doesn't get in ahead of Shaw?
No. Or Botman, no.
Okay. I'm asking. I'm not saying I disagree.
No, he doesn't start at Newcastle. He definitely doesn't start at Liverpool, City, United, or Arsenal. Right? He doesn't start at Brighton.
I don't think he starts at
Lewis
Brighton
Dunk
either.
over this guy every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Yep.
Who's the Brighton right side?
Lewis Dunk.
Well, they've got Dunk, Webster, Igor. But you watch. Yeah. I bet you they're all defensive. Listen, do you know what it is? When I watch these teams play, right? I watch these teams play,
it's a fair point.
I'm not seeing these defenders make the mistakes and be as rash as I see Romero every game. The problem
are we comparing Romero last season, and I hate doing this. I hate doing this, but I'm going to play the part of the person in the comments that's going to say
last season to the season before.
You compare Romero last season to the season before, or so you put Romero with a better left-sided centre-back and see what he can do.
Let me ask you then, Sean. This is the quickest way to debunk that question, right? The very same fans that tell me Romero had a bad year because he played alongside Dyer and Davis, right, are the same fans that tell me the year before, in his first year at Spurs, he was brilliant when he was playing alongside who?
Different versions of Dyer and Davis,
but still with Dyer and Davis, right? Yeah. Still with Dyer and Davis. At the end of the day, what I want to see, like people say, Romero starts over Dunk.
But you could make, to counter that, you could look at the Fabian Schär of the season before last season.
Sure,
and say they're chalk and cheese.
Of course you can.
So Fabian Schär is a better player because he's playing next to Botman versus.
But what I'm saying is, one's going that way, one's gone that way. Like it's listen, like. So somebody tell it like this is where people don't watch other clubs. Lewis Dunk is a top centre half. Lewis Dunk is a top centre half that doesn't make mistakes, right? Isn't rash.
He's a
leader. He's good in the air, right? Please, can somebody tell me why on earth is Lewis Dunk?
So let's look at it, right?
Is this
It's Ellie.
Is that Ellie? Saying he's better than Dunk? Oh my God, no, he's better. I can't agree with that. Okay, let me just go hang on, Henry. No, I want to know though. When people say these things, tell me somebody what's he better? What is Romero better than Lewis Dunk? What's he better at?
I'll tell you what he's better at, playing for Argentina.
No, but hang on, I want an answer. Come on, what's he better at?
He's not a better tackler than Dunk. He's not a better leader than Dunk. He's not better in the air than Dunk.
Right.
He's not more dependable than Dunk because he doesn't sprint 30 yards out of his.
Not for Tottenham, but like you just said, Henry. The argument is you take the Argentinian version of Romero.
Yeah, but
even then, some of the Argentinian fans will tell you that he is still rash for them. I think we're taking 7 games where someone's won a World Cup to talk about their whole career. For me, even my mates that religiously watch Italian football said that, he had a good season in Italy, but he was very hit and miss. Like there'd be games where you go, oh my God, this guy is scary. But again, this is what I like. People like Ellie say he's better than Dunk. Come on. Give me a reason.
So look at
what's he better at than Dunk?
Doesn't start at Brighton, doesn't start at Chelsea, doesn't start at Liverpool, doesn't start at City, doesn't start at Arsenal, doesn't start at United. Doesn't start at Villa.
So when I said 12 teams, he gets into 12.
I've already named 7 teams you don't start for.
Yeah, and the 8th team is Tottenham. The 8th team is Tottenham. So I'm banging on.
I've seen Lewis Dunk. He's not that great. I mean, he's been excellent for years. He has been
right.
Oh my God!
It doesn't start at Villa.
So you would swap Lewis Dunk for Romero in a heartbeat.
Yeah, all day long. All day long.
Carlos and Pau Torres for Romero in a heartbeat.
All day long.
Does he start?
I don't know what he does.
All jokes aside, now does he start for West Ham?
I don't disagree with you, to be honest, guys. I don't disagree.
Does he start for West Ham? Is he more dependable than Aguerd and Kurt Zuma?
Zuma maybe. I like a Gerd.
Kurt Zuma's a really good player. Kurt Zuma's brilliant.
I like a Gerd. Look,
I don't hate a Gerd either, to be honest. Yeah, you're right. It's a weird.
The thing that makes me laugh. Because Lewis Dunk isn't a fashionable name and isn't at a fashionable club. Right?
He's not Dunko, is he? If he's Dunko, he gets a bit of praise.
Right. He's being talked about. But have you noticed? Right? when you actually ask fans a football question where you need rationale, all I'm getting is, come on, give me an answer. What's he better at than Lewis Dunk?
I think Romero has had a terrible second season at Tottenham, but I think there's a player there that if he was to find his confidence, find his level of desirability, correct his timing, I think then he becomes part of a conversation. But on relative recency bias, I think everything you've said is correct. I think recency bias.
What recency? A whole year?
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah,
so hasn't Lewis Dunk, for example, been really good for a number of years in
why
Brighton's rise like this?
So why hasn't Lewis Dunk been moved on to a bigger team?
Because he's the captain of the club and he's just on a new contract.
What?
Yeah, but why? Well, I'm saying, but why didn't?
You could say once Harry Kane not moved on.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to apply that same knowledge to when we talked to you about Harry Kane needing to move on, and you said no, because players are loyal and blah blah blah. So, but when it's Lewis Dunk,
who said that,
mate? Listen,
I want Harry Kane out of the club, mate. I want him gone.
Yeah, can I just say, right? This guy emailed me, right? This guy in your chat emailed me. This Spurs Digest guy has said he's better at tackling, heading, positioning, passing than Dunk. I don't know if anyone.
He's better at passing. He's better at on the ball stuff.
No.
I don't think he's
No. Watch how Brighton play. Dunk starts it all off. Again, people don't watch him.
Do I need to get the stats up? Do I?
People don't. But people don't watch him. Watch Dunk. I never watch Dunk and go, "You've had a bad game there." He always looks.
Scooter reacts. I feel like they are going. I'm not defending Romero here. I think Romero's had an absolute shocker. They are ganging up me a little bit, but I haven't. I'm just playing the devil's advocate because I.
Do you know what makes me laugh though?
So
I tell you what, this guy. Sorry, just quickly, Henry. This guy's called it right. Chelsea 101 saying Spurs fans looking down on centre backs. Bang on for a club that can't defend.
Who said that?
Chelsea 101. For a club that can't defend, we don't half put down really good defenders.
And everyone we get linked to, right, is automatically better than everyone else. If I said to Arsenal,
here you go.
Right,
will Dunk start for Argentina, Henry?
Yes.
He would start alongside Romero probably for Argentina. Romero is not good in the air.
I really like Lewis Dunk. I really like Lewis Dunk. So I feel like I'm taking the other side of an argument I don't really want to be on just for the purposes of the conversation. But I agree with you.
Dunk plays three strengths. He holds his position.
Very good player.
He's very vocal. Romero is technically good, but he doesn't have a footballing brain. You know, Dunk.
Romero's a new age centre half, Henry. Romero's a new age centre half where fans are more impressed by his ability to pass and spray a ball about, and they don't look at his deficiencies as a centre half defending.
It's like if you look at the guy that should be starting on the left, right, Martinez, and you look at Romero, it's night and day. If you look at Martinez for Man United, their left-sided centre back, and you watch Romero, it's night and day.
But hang on, just really quickly, so I just want to say, Ellie, the thing is, though, Ellie, and I go through this all the time with you. When you say it's an opinion, Sava, some people say Romero, you say Dunk, you can agree to disagree, but you haven't given me an opinion. Like, what you've said is, come on, it's Romero. When I've asked for, some context, all I'm getting is, come on. Come on, what?
You know what? Listen, like, I think that you could make the argument that Romero is better than some of the names mentioned at the ball playing attributes, but you could make that same argument for Clement Longley. Defensively,
sure.
When you're looking for defenders to do what they need to do defensively, last season Romero was incredibly rash. I don't disagree with you guys.
And the season before, it wasn't like he was brilliant all season.
The season before, he timed his tackles better. And that's why everyone fell in love with him. This guy's a cruncher. This guy is an absolute beast. He nails it. But when when you catch it right, it looks brilliant. When you catch it wrong, it's an absolute liability.
Yeah, when you catch it wrong, you break someone's leg.
Yeah, but also you give away red cards. He ruined the game against Milan.
If you look at people are saying Martinez is much rash as Romero. Have you watched Martinez play for Man United?
No.
He's the best centre back in the league other than
And
John
he's
Stones,
5'10", but he wins
But
headers
again,
in the air against
like,
6'2".
But
on the ball,
do
other
you
than
know
John
how
Stones,
easily pleased we are?
he's one of the best centre backs
Danny
on the ball.
Kiriakou said, like, Romero was brilliant first season. He wasn't brilliant. Like, I saw him have many a shocker. I feel like we're so easily pleased when a player has a few good games. I'm sorry, he wasn't brilliant in the first season. Hence why, Henry, I said it the whole time, didn't I? I said, this guy is rash. This guy is liked because he goes crunching in, but that is not how top defenders are judged. Top defenders are not judged on how they go crunching in. Top defenders are calm, composed. Right, look, like H. Again, another one. I love you, mate. Romero is a better defender. Tackling, passing, and aggression. So I must be watching a different Lewis Dunk then. Aggression.
No, I think Romero is a better ball playing centre back than Lewis Dunk. I
don't think he is.
I
don't think he is. Didn't Lewis Dunk at one point have like the most passes because everything in the league, because everything went through Lewis Dunk at Brighton. Again, this is what I mean. I don't think people are watching.
I've never done this comparison, but let's do it.
Hang on. Rob Wallace, big up to you, channel member. Sava and Wright are sick of talking about Harry Kane, so I've resorted to belittling Romero. Who's next? I'm not belittling him. I just don't think he's at the level of play everyone else does. They call him a Rolls Royce. A Rolls Royce for me is someone like Moussa Dembele, who it doesn't matter where he is on the pitch. He will just doesn't get pressured.
Listen, I think he's good at times. I think he's good at times. I've never watched him though, Henry. And like the way some people in this chat are talking is though he's Saliba.
Like he's Beckenbauer. That's the way they're talking.
I watch Saliba play for Arsenal and I go, you've got the full package, right? Tall, strong, powerful, good on the ball, can bring it out, good in the air, good in the tackle. I watch him. Right. I watch him and go, yeah. Our fans are watching Romero. And you know the problem is? It's because we've got so many bad defenders that he is elevated to a level that he's not at.
All right. Here we go. Here's Lewis Dunk versus... I'm looking at this for the first time ever. Lewis Dunk versus Christian Romero on last season's stats. Let's look at defensive actions. Tackles per 90. Romero 2.59 versus 0.83. Tackles 1.
Hang on, Port. Yeah, but that's not.
Brighton. I don't know how this tells you who's a better. Yeah, I don't know how this tells you who's better.
Brighton
they play
don't
different
play in a
systems.
Okay. Well, I'm just looking.
Brighton don't play in a system.
I know. I'm just looking for a couple. I'm going to look at all of it.
Brighton don't play in a system.
On the defensive actions, Romero per 90 smashes Lewis Dunk. But yeah, you got to take always. You have to take stats into context. If Brighton,
they don't give away the ball, so he doesn't need to make tackles.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's why those stats never make sense.
Possession-wise, Lewis Dunk's 96.1 touches per 90. That is absolutely insane, by the way. That is absolutely insane. Any player that's approaching 100 touches per 90, that is absolutely...
Because he's brilliant on the ball. And the goalie rolls it out to him.
He's taken on...
I don't know what this has got to do with anything. I really don't understand what this has got to do with their ability to defend.
Put it away. I'm going to put it away. I'm just showing some. Like Lewis Dunk is actually better. Lewis Dunk wins most of the possession-based stats as well, including take-ons.
He's a very good player. He's a very good player. That because he's at Brighton, we're saying it as though Brighton are bad. Because he's at Brighton, people won't give him the credit, but. I listen, all I know is whenever I watch him play, I think I'd love you at Spurs. I'd definitely love him at Spurs. When I watch Romero, listen,
was I not showing that on the screen? Sorry.
No. Right, Spurs Digest, you've got to stop, mate. You keep doing this in the chat. Loving this scrambling. There's no scrambling, mate. Lewis Dunk's just had 3 or 4 brilliant years in a row, right? Christian Romero hasn't. My point is this, right? If you are as good as Romero is, what everyone does is they blame, right? They blame Davis, Dyer, Longley, whatever. If you are as good as everyone says you are, he would stand up head and shoulders above the rest and look good. And he didn't. He didn't look good. He didn't stand out at anything. He didn't lead the box. He wasn't good in the air. He made rash tackles. He gave, like, some of the fouls he gave away for penalties and red cards and stuff. If Eric Dyer or Ben Davies had done it, people would have gone mad at them. But because it's Romero, it's, oh, but he's playing with bad defenders. Well, that's got nothing to do with when he dives in. Like, I'm so bored of this guy being massively overrated.
All right. Well, listen, I've got a couple of super chats to get through, and then we'll round it off. Spurs, appreciate the super chat. This is a while back, mate. I'm so sorry I didn't see it at the time. Do you think if Spurs got relegated, do you think they would sell as the stadium would not be full in the Championship? By the way, this could be a reality. Yeah, look, I think that to the boys' point earlier, I think that if Tottenham did get relegated, it would probably change the dynamic of their interest in the football club, and that might increase that scenario. I don't know, boys. Do you want to
tell you what? I don't want to be doing watch-alongs against the likes of Hull City and Ipswich Town.
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing changes, mate. Honestly, if they get relegated, if you want Tottenham to get relegated solely in order to get rid of Daniel Levy, you're going to put yourself through a year of absolute misery, because there won't be any Henry Wright TV, there won't be any Sava Talk Spurs, or Sava Talk Football. There certainly won't be any Spurs Talk Show for a while. Dermatron saying, big up Sean as a fan. After today's news, I now won't be going to Spurs games next season as I can't afford it. With plane travel, we being priced out. Great show. Yeah, listen, mate, I understand, man. I understand, Dermot. Sorry to hear that, bro. Hope you're doing well, my man. Hope you're doing well. And then lastly, more recently, sorry, I've been really bad on these super chats. Kaylee Davis, will Romero play differently under an Ange system? I'll leave that one to you, Henry. Will Romero be more different in an Ange system?
Well, I think we're naturally going to score less goals because we're going to have more of the ball. We might concede 5 or 10 or maybe 15 less goals. But like I've said, he's got a lot of technical ability. It's just the brain. If Postecoglou can say, look, what are you doing? You don't need to run 20, 30 yards outside your box. You don't need to do that. Right? If he can get through to him and say, look, you can be a very good centre-back, then we might have a player on our hands. Might.
I think someone's right in the chat. I think he'd be a better 6 than he is a centre half.
I asked this question of you. I asked this question on Henry's channel about 2.5 months ago. Henry said yes. Saba, you said no. You said absolutely no way.
No, hang on.
I said yeah.
Hang on. That doesn't mean I want Spurs to put him at number 6. I want Spurs to buy a number 6. But I think his type of character as a player,
he's a better 6. He's a much better 6.
I don't think he's switched on. I don't think he's switched on enough. I don't understand. I'm not saying he's a terrible player. I just don't think he's this player everyone thinks he is. If they were watching him all last year, you would see he's not the player you think he is, right?
I think I genuinely think if you go and sign 2 monster centre backs, to your point earlier, Saba, you sign Tosin and Van der Ven or Tosin and Tapsoba, you drop Romero. The only thing that's stopping Romero playing in the 6 for me is his willingness to learn the 6, because it will diminish his chance of securing his spot for Argentina, which counts more in his mind than playing for Tottenham. It's an easier spot playing in the 3 or the 4 for Argentina than it is playing in the 6. In the 6, he's got to compete with.
I wouldn't have him there, by the way. I'm just saying, Sean, I wouldn't have him there. Not for me.
He could be a 6, though. He could be a 6.
I think he could. I think the problem you're always going to have with Romero, I think it is he has got that lack of ability to concentrate. The top players, when people are in a game, he's brilliant. The top players concentrate for 90 minutes, right? When you watch Ledley King play, right? When you watch Ledley King, you didn't ever see that man dive in. You never, like I know fans like it. Like me and Jacob always have. He's like, yeah, but people, I love it. He gets stuck in. That's not the mark of a good defender. That's the mark of a passionate fan. That's not the mark of a good defender.
Maldini never used to do that, did he?
Yep. I mean, I wasn't even going to go to the Maldini level.
But he said, right, if you're on the floor, that's your first mistake or whatever. Right.
I just think there's so much he's got to work on, and my worry is that he's 25. And you know what? Before I get cussed for saying this, everything I'm saying here, there is a piece online a video of Rio Ferdinand picking apart this guy's game, right?
No, I agree.
And Rio Ferdinand, I'll send it to you, Henry, right? Rio Ferdinand, one of the best centre-backs I've seen, said the same things. He went, he's got no concentration. He said, if he's my teammate, he's a liability, right? He's rash. He doesn't ever make a decision based on what's best for the team. He just goes flying in, right? Rio Ferdinand was saying this. One of the best defenders I think this country's ever produced.
Jamie Carragher picked apart his game as well, and he won.
Jamie Carragher picked it apart, but apparently they're wrong, and all these Spurs fans who think he's brilliant and he's great on the ball and he's good in the air, and all right, cool. All the top centre backs rip him apart.
100%. Listen, I agree. I agree with you. I love the chat, guys. We're miles overdue. I don't want you guys to think that we're going to be going for 2 hours on most shows. We're not. We're going to keep it tighter next time. But because of today's discussion around the THST, it went overboard. But I want to thank you both for coming on, making the debut on Shameless. We're going to be continuing this next Tuesday. Saba, what is coming up on the Football Heritage TV?
Someone's called me a troll in your chat. That's quite funny. I'm live every day. How can I be a troll? Tomorrow I'm going live at 4 p.m. It's normally the 10 a.m. show. It's been moved to 4 p.m. for some personal reasons. And then just the usual Spurs review on Sunday, normal videos, jumping on the shows with you lot. And yeah, I honestly wish moving forward, I do wish, right, that I'm gonna say this, and you guys will tell me off afterwards for saying this. I really do wish that people would appreciate some of the work rate that like us three put in, because so many people come into this chat and are so rude, like so rude, and the things they just constantly call you and stuff. It's like
you're doing it again, Kat. You're doing it again.
But like, no, guys, I'm serious. Like I put in work rate to put on a show for Spurs fans to talk football, and the number of messages that are belittling, and yeah, some of it's banter, but some people it's just way too much, like way too much. Like
well,
just keep it.
Chat, you got to work a little bit harder, chat. You got to be a little bit nice, a little bit kinder. I barely look at the chat, and I pick up the comments as much as I can, but I don't really I don't see the negativity.
I think I'm going to start doing shows where I turn the chat off, because like it's getting to the point where it's just too much. You can't have an opinion without everyone calling you like Levy in. Like I'm now Levy in. I'm a troll. It's like, you know, just
without the chat though. Without the chat, we're just three dickheads sitting in our basements talking about Tottenham, you know.
Yeah, sitting with a green screen up of a stadium.
Yeah, I appreciate, guys. Listen, look, everyone's got to be friendly. I appreciate that. I mean, Saba puts in hours. How many hours you been working today, Saba, on all channels? Like
about
all
7.
Day. It's a full-time gig for you, isn't it?
Right, like about 7 hours, and then just constantly just the hate. Just the hate is shocking. Like anyway,
you should pay us. Unbelievable. Love it. Love the banter. Listen, to each their own. Saba, I really appreciate you, mate. Get over to Saba. Get over to the Football Heritage TV. The link is in the title. Make sure you repay the man's loyalty and generosity of his time from coming on. Go, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you get over there. And the same goes for Henry Wright TV. His link is in the description. Henry, what's coming up on your show, mate?
So there will be a Shameless transfer video tomorrow.
I'll be out before you with my Shameless.
Well, can you let me know when you're posting? I'll let you know when I'm posting, so we don't cross wires. Yeah, so that'll be posting tomorrow, and there will obviously be the Wednesday Spurs show, which will be on my channel, the three of us, tomorrow 6:30 till around 8ish. And there'll be other transfer videos dropping. And as a little shameless plug, I am 29 subs off of the next small milestone. So
can we get in there right now, guys? Can we get in right now? Like the link is in. Let me see if I can get the link. Hang on a second.
By the way, guys, have you seen? There's a lot of reports flying around at the moment that Chelsea are coming in with a bid for Lavia to try and steal him from Liverpool.
They are the biggest cock blocks of every single Premier League club. They are cock block FC.
Wolfsburg are set to sign Rogerio on a permanent transfer
Yeah.
from Wolfsburg.
Guys, before we round up, right? There's still 700 people watching. Just hit that link quickly for Henry Wright. Give this. There must be 20 of you or 30 of you in the house that haven't already. Let me
Appreciate
get
that.
Stabbers as well. Football Heritage. Let's hit that link, guys. I want to get these boys to their next milestones. This is the first time I've had these guys on together on the show at the same time. It's been long coming. I'm going to make this a regular thing. And I hope that you will dial in for Shameless. Here you go. Here's Football Heritage TV as well. Guys, just hit these 2 links. It doesn't take you away from the show. Get their numbers up and smash the like button whilst you're at it. Don't be greedy. We've been doing this all day. Sav's been doing it like basically a 24-hour job for the last couple of months. You know, recognize the effort. Cost nothing on your part. It really means the world to us lot. It's in the title underneath, Sean. It is indeed Scooter React. So I appreciate you, mate. All right, guys, we're going to round off. We will see you tomorrow on Henry's at 6:30, and we'll see Sam. Sam, what time's your show tomorrow? 4.
Yeah, permitting 4.
Okay. Really appreciate it. Last super chat of the night from Donovan Davis. Thanks to all 3 of you for all you do. Appreciate that. And also,
Big up, Donovan.
Already from Kaylee. Appreciate you guys. We're going to run up. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs. See you next time. Bye-bye.